Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Warrior Report here on HBC TV 25. I'm Justin Barrientos. Thanks for joining us. We're brought to you by Cost Cutters. And again, we're going to talk Warrior Volleyball with Joe Getson. Thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thanks for having us again.
Got a lot of news to catch up on that happened in the past week. Obviously, another new poll comes out, and Winona State is in the top 25 for the first time since preseason last year, so congratulations to that.
Well, thank you very much. Well deserved, I
So
think.
what was your reaction when you found that out on Monday?
Well, given the weekend we had, we kind of expected to move up in the polls. We were receiving some votes, and with two good road wins, we knew we were going to be there. It was just a matter. I said 20, but I guess the
You're one off on
One
that.
off,
That's
not
okay.
too bad.
But looking at it, 9 teams now from the NSIC, 9 of the 16 teams are in the top 25. And, we were talking about the fact that in the regions, that's going to play a big role as well.
Yeah, I mean, and it once again speaks just how competitive the Northern Sun is in women's volleyball, and it's like that pretty much every year. So it's exciting. That's what we like about it.
All right, now some of the other national honors that you received, or at least one of your players did, Megan Flom was named National Player of the Week.
Megan had a phenomenal weekend and put up some numbers that are worthy of that award. In fact, I called it on the bus ride home that we beat 2 ranked teams in front of us on the road with sweeps, and Megan was a big part of that with the numbers that she put up and was pretty much unstoppable and very deserving of it.
And of course, that's kind of breaking news because that came out as we tape here. But before that, Megan and Bree Maloney were named NSIC Players of the Week.
Well, yes, and once again, because of the weekend that we had, but, and I tell the team this all the time, individuals never get any kind of awards unless the team does something special. And so it's really a team effort. They just happen to pick 2 people that represent us, but, we talked about it. Very deserving for Megan and Bree. Bree had a great weekend as well, but it was really a team effort. And the bench was amazing this weekend and really kept us in some tight points just with their energy. So it was a fun weekend.
All right, let's get to the games. And before we talk about the games specifically, I want to talk in general. Now, this may seem like a silly question because obviously you think your team is going to win every time you go out on the court, but it's 2 sweeps of 2 top 25 teams. I think that's the first time that Winona State has won 2 games from top 25 opponents in back-to-back nights in the history of the program, which is amazing.
Wow.
But are you surprised that you were able to get sweeps in both of those?
I expected the wins. I felt very confident going into the weekend that we matched up well and that we had been practicing well. We're starting to click a little bit, figure some things out. But to sweep on the road, especially against those 2 types of teams, was a big surprise to me, and very pleasant surprise, shall we say. And there was opportunities for us to give away a set here or there, and the girls really stepped up, and it was never an issue.
All right, so Sioux Falls was first. They were number 19 coming into the week. You were receiving votes coming in. And as we said, it was a sweep. There were a lot of players that kind of contributed to that. Tell us specifically about Sioux Falls. What did you see in that match?
Well, one of the things we keep talking about on this show is our serving and passing, and I think we did a really good job of keeping Sioux Falls out of systems so they couldn't get the ball to certain people, and then we had a defense for who they set, and the girls did a great job picking up that defense in a short notice. It's a one-off defense. I won't tell you what we call it because it was a whole nother subject, but okay. It was fun to see them react to that and make adjustments and take care of business.
Madison Larson, Madison Reisner had some really good performances in that Sioux Falls game as well.
Yeah, and it's, I think you could go down and every one of the players that played had a significant role. And once again, just feeling the excitement and the energy from the bench fueled that. There's no doubt about it.
All right, then the following night you go in and this was a difficult one, I think, because you had to come back in the first set and then I think in the third set as well. Talk about being able to come back and then still be able to get the sweep.
Well, one of the things the team did a really good job at is we weren't playing to the score, and we talk about that all the time. We play each ball till its life expectancy, which is 1 point, and then we start over. And I thought they did a phenomenal job just in that focus, and they never let the score bother them, and we chipped away, and pretty soon the momentum changed a little bit and put enough pressure on them, and they cracked.
And then at the end, match point was a service ace. That had to be really nice to see too.
Oh yes, and Liza had gone in earlier and missed a serve, and she was asking if she went back in, and I had to kind of check my subs, and I finally looked at it and said, yes, go get me an ace. And so I'd like to take credit for that. If it was only that easy.
Right.
But no, Liza came in and did a great job, and it was definitely in and put the final nail in the coffin.
All right, let's talk a little bit about when you put in subs. Do you ever worry about breaking up any kind of chemistry or anything like that? Are you making subs to get people rest? What is your rationale for making subs?
Well, there's all sorts of different scenarios that we utilize them for, but we work on that a lot, give a lot of different players opportunities in different situations in practices. I want everyone on the bench to feel comfortable at any moment. It's a hard role to come off the bench. 1 minute you're cheering and clapping and maybe even acting a little bit silly to keep it light. And the next minute you have to go in, and we task them with knowing what they need to be doing at all times as well. So I think we have a really deep team. We talked about that from preseason, 17 strong that way, and I think number 17 could come in and play significant minutes or points at any given time.
Now, I imagine that you kind of want to keep the underdog role maybe under the radar a little bit. How do you keep that going after a successful weekend like this in this week's practices?
Well, I don't, we've played that role for a number of years. I don't think we're an underdog in anyone's mind anymore. And, especially when you go on the road and beat 2 ranked teams with sweeps, National Player of the Week, a couple conference players, you're not an underdog anymore. But I don't think we look at it that way. I think we're looking at it, we've got a bigger picture in mind, and we're playing each point. So I don't think that's a factor. Now, we've got a rough stretch coming up as far as quality of teams that we play, but that's also what is exciting about it. So.
All right, so it's homecoming week coming up. So you have Wayne State, and then you have Augustana. Tell me a little bit about those teams.
Well, Wayne State's another perennial power within the Northern Sun. They do a great job of just keeping the ball off the floor. They get it back to you, let you make mistakes if you do that. But if you handle that and keep the pressure on them, I think we will be able to hold our own.
Okay, and then Augustana?
Augustana is just another dark horse. They were receiving votes to get into the top 25 up until this week, and they went 5 with Concordia. So obviously they have a lot of talent on that team, and not someone that we're going to take lightly. Hopefully we'll have a double win with football winning, and then we'll win right after them.
All right, expecting big crowds then?
I hope so, yes. We'd love to have you out there.
All right, very good. We're going to take a break here on Warrior Report. When we come back, Sarah Suits will join us right after this.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Perfect. Getting the right look at the right price
Perfect.
is always in style. At Cost Cutters.
Located in the professional building in the Winona Mall, 507-454-60.
Loyalty to the Greenleaf name is dying and it needs tending.
Good morning, Calvary. Welcome to the family.
Harmony and Hope will put Phil DeMars in the pulpit. I'm so tired of having this secret. I love you, James. As far as being in love, none of you care about me.
This sure don't feel like church.
The key to getting this church back?
We have to leave room for God.
And welcome back to the Warrior Report. I'm Justin Barrientos here on TV25. We're brought to you by Cost Cutters. Sarah Suits joins us. Thanks for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Now, I want to go to your high school days first before we get into your Winona State career. You went to Heritage Christian Academy, and you're a part of a volleyball team. In fact, first sports team ever from your school to make it to state. Mm-hmm. Tell us about that time and what that was like to represent your school that way.
No, that was just an unforgettable moment. Like you said, we were the first team of any team from Heritage to go to state, and I think my school was so small, so none of us had any really idea of what it was and what it was like, and the fact that we were a part of that was just really cool. And our principal like let us out of school, and we had buses shipping students to and from the facilities, so it was really cool to see the community come together and support us.
And you get to play at XL Energy
Yeah,
Center, so that must
yeah.
have been fun too.
Yeah, none of us had ever played there before, so that was a little bit of a shift for us, but we really worked with that and did well.
So you placed third that year, and then you did it again next year.
Yeah.
You placed fourth. Was it the same the second time around?
Honestly, yeah, it was pretty similar. We were still excited just because of the fact that we had been there one time before. It didn't stop our run and our fire. We still wanted to go back and return, especially since we were seniors, so it was really fun.
You also played softball while you were
yeah.
in high school. You were a pitcher,
Yeah.
varsity pitcher since 8th grade. That's pretty
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah.
What was that like to be a softball player?
It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't my favorite sport. You know, volleyball was my go-to, but it was a good change to kind of get a different scene of things and to kind of still be in a competitive environment when I wasn't doing volleyball.
All right. Now, if you can remember from the recruiting standpoint, what did you see in Sarah that made you want?
Well, Sarah would show up. We do Sunday afternoon clinics, and Sarah would show up starting as a 10th grader, and she made it real clear, even though she hit and did some attacking in her youth, shall we say, that she had a purpose of wanting to be a libero DS and at the collegiate level. And she showed up on Sundays, consecutive Sundays, and just impressed me so much with her work ethic and the character that she brought and how hard she worked at things. So knew from the beginning we had something special here.
All right. So why the switch then going into college to a defensive specialist?
Yeah, so I've actually always been kind of a back row player, but in high school, every now and again, I'd have to hit front row, especially my sophomore year was when I had to hit outside. But I had always loved playing in the back row. I just being the one to first touch the ball and kind of set the tone, I guess, for the rest of the match and the rest of the points. So I really enjoyed that part.
All right. And then how did you find out about Winona State? What drew you to this program?
Yeah, so my brother had actually gone to Concordia St. Paul, so I was aware of kind of the NSIC and schools within that conference, and I was really looking forward to be a part of hopefully one of those schools. And I kind of reached out to Winona and really enjoyed their academic program. It was a really good fit for me, and then loved the girls, loved the environment, and just really knew it was the spot for me.
All right. And what are you studying here at Winona State?
Movement science.
Okay. And what do you
Yeah.
hope to do with that in the future?
My dream job would be a pediatric physical therapist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get into then this past weekend. Obviously, it's a
Yeah.
very exciting weekend
Yeah.
for the volleyball team. From your perspective, how did the games go this weekend?
Yeah, it was, every time I think about it, I just get a smile on my face. It was incredible. I think we all came to play and we came to battle, and we knew it was going to be tough. We didn't expect them to roll over for us, but that didn't stop us or shut us down in any way. We just went out there and owned it, and we caused them to crack, and it was just something really special to be a part of.
And do you pay any attention to the polls, the rankings, anything like that?
Yeah, we do. I think it was, yeah, it was really special to get notified. I think, like Coach had said, especially sweeping 2 top 25 teams this past weekend, we were kind of expecting to get in the top 25. I think, honestly, that's kind of just lighting a fire under us, though, because we all want more and we want to be higher than that. So.
All right, and then final question here. You're coming back home again this weekend in front of the home fans, two
Yeah.
big opponents. What do you have to do to be successful this week?
Yeah, I think we kind of just have to, like Coach said, serve and pass is a big thing, and kind of come out playing Winona State volleyball, not Wayne volleyball, not Augustana volleyball, but Winona State. So.
All right, very good. Thank you for joining
Yeah,
us this
thank you
week,
for
and
having
good luck.
me. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, we're going to take a break here on Warrior Report. When we come back, we'll talk women's soccer. That's right after this.
Perfect.
Perfect. Perfect.
Getting the right look at the right price
Perfect.
is always in style at Cost Cutters.
Located in the professional building in the Winona Mall, 507-454-6030.
Get ready to rock the block. 4 top designers, 4 suburban homes. The renovation showdown is on.
This is my turn. I don't like to lose. This is gonna be fun.
I'm gonna crush the competition.
It's time to rock the block. Rock the block. Series premiere Monday, October 21st at 9 on HGTV.
And welcome back to the Warrior Report here on HBC TV 25. We are brought to you by Cost Cutters. Time to talk women's soccer now. Matt Kellogg joins us. Thanks for being back here again today.
Thanks for having us.
It's been a few weeks since we talked to you last. So kind of give us an idea of how the season has gone for you. You know, the last 2 games were shutouts and they were really good for you. Overall, though, how has the season gone?
Well, obviously we're trending up, so we're very happy. And, you know, we had a little bit of a rough start. 1, it was a challenging schedule right away. And 2, we were still trying to figure out some of the parts and pieces. We graduated a pretty big class last year, and they left quite a few holes for us to fill. And we were just trying to figure out, okay, who's going to figure out, you know, who's going to sit here, who's going to play there. And I think we did that. But Justin, I got to be honest, more than us as coaches figuring out X's and O's and players wherever, our players have really just stepped up and kind of taking control of the situation. And, you know, the effort and training, it was good and now it's great. The attention to detail, those things that really aren't coachable, that's a culture thing. Mm-hmm. You know, you can get on the kids all you want, but if they aren't 100% in the moment, it doesn't matter. And, you know, credit to our upperclassmen to kind of bring that and challenge the rest of the team. And trainings have been fantastic because of that.
All right. And then I know that we had talked at the beginning of the season about scoring and, you know, who's going to be your scorer. It seems to be pretty well spread out. I mean, your leading goal scorer has 4 goals, and then you have like 5 or 6 other players that have 1 goal apiece. How has that gone so far?
Yeah, I mean, you'd love to have that 1 goal scorer that's going to get you 10 that you can count on. Mm-hmm. But the nice thing about spreading it around is that they can't zero in on anybody. So they can't say, okay, we're going to take, you know, Courtney Winesek out of it, because if they do, then 2 more kids pop up. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a long season. There's going to be some injuries. So again, if that goal scorer goes down, we don't have that goal scorer right now that if she went down, people would be like, well, how are we going to score? Mm-hmm. Well, it's not like she's got 12 goals and we're going to miss those. You know, it's kind of everybody, you know, scoring by committee right now. And I think it's working out great because nobody can pick us apart and say we're going to take her out of the equation.
All right, and then defense and goalkeeping. I know that in the couple of shutouts that you had this past weekend, there weren't a lot of shots on goal, which is a good problem to have.
Yeah, no, it's a little bit of reversal from earlier in the year where we're giving up quite a few. Again, we made some personnel changes in the back. Taylor Johnson, who's going to be on here in a moment, she was one of those kids that we switched her position and her role and asked her to just do a little bit different. And I think she's kind of, you know, I said to our coaching staff, she's taking to the position like duck to water. She's doing really well right now for us. But I think, you know, to be fair to the rest of the team, I think also our midfielders are really stepping up so that our defense doesn't have to defend everything and anything. Now they only have to defend a little bit, and they're doing a great job at that. So it's really a team concept of, you know, let's limit what that group behind you has to see. And then as a result, now our goalie doesn't see much of anything.
All right, so generally what is your setup then, and how has that changed at all this season because of what you said to move players around?
Yeah, what we've done is we've kind of tweaked. We were throwing a lot of players forward in the attack. And I think we just realized that we're just not there yet with the counterattack. Mm-hmm. So we were giving up a lot of counterattacks. So now we're keeping a couple more kids at home, and especially in the middle part of the field, we're kind of clogging that up so the teams don't have a direct route to goal anymore. And I think you're seeing, one, we're defending better and giving up fewer opportunities, but we're still able to maintain that presence going forward and still getting goals.
All right, let's recap then the games that happened this weekend, because you were able to get your first home win,
yep.
Which is exciting for you. Tell us a little bit about the Northern State match, 2-0 in that one.
Northern State, I mean, we came out and we knew that they had some special players that we saw on film. So defensively, we kind of schemed to try and take them away as much as possible, force the ball down the other side of the field. And that really started with one of our forwards up top, Georgette Tapalis, who we just said, take this half of the field away, and she did a great job of that. And that limited her production for Northern State. And then we really just took care of some opportunities. You know, all season long we'd been creating goal scoring opportunities, and it was, again, that mindset we talked about earlier in training really showed in the game, where we just went and took care of those loose balls inside the 18, and then we were very composed once we got up 2-0 and maintained the lead and didn't give one back to them, because they were coming at us pretty hard, especially late in the game.
Yeah, and Georgette is your leading scorer, and then Missy Greco and Kara Shamel were able to get the goals in the game against Northern.
Yeah, it's great. Again, it's scoring by committee, so you really can't pick on anybody. And those are two midfielders, actually, so that our midfielders were still able to get forward and get numbers into attack.
All right, and then the next day, then it was against Minnesota State Moorhead, and you had a little bit of a streak. I don't know if you were aware of that heading into the match. Maybe you were. They had a little bit of a streak against Moorhead.
Yeah, I think we're going to talk about our sports information person, kind of jinxing it. I know he's a big baseball fan, so it's like, don't talk about the no-hitter until it's after. But yeah, we were aware of that, but honestly, that didn't enter into our minds except for just in the office joking around. But we knew that Moorhead is that team that they're never going to go away. 90 minutes, they're going to fight tooth and nail, and that was the message to our team, is they're never going to give up. If we're up 5-0, they're still going to come at you. They have a couple dangerous players. They have a transfer from Bemidji State that's playing really well for them, and we saw that on film, and we made sure that we schemed for her specifically, so that she couldn't be as dangerous as she has been all season. And it's one of those, a player of that ability, she's going to get free at some point. Our job is to minimize those opportunities, and I thought we did a great job of that.
All right, not to jinx it the next time that you play them, but it was a 23-match winning streak, and now it's at 24, so congratulations on
Thank
that.
you.
Coming up, you play some difficult games, especially Augustana, top of the conference coming up. How do you match up against Augustana?
System-wise, it looks good. They play a very similar system to us, so it's almost like going to be playing ourselves like we do all the time in practice. Same system of 4-3-3. I think this game is going to be who wins those kind of free kick moments, those corner kicks, the things that you can control. Who's going to control those? And then, honestly, looking at the weather forecast, it looks like it could get ugly.
Yes.
20 to 30 mile an hour winds, 1 to 3 inches of snow. So again, that's going to be who can take care of those opportunities and put those things away, because there's probably going to be a sloppy goal or two on Friday.
All right, and then you have to travel to Wayne after that. Unfortunately, we can't get into that because we're out of time for this segment, but a difficult road trip coming up for you.
Challenging.
Yes. All right, we're going to take a break here on the Warrior Report. When we come back, Taylor Johnson will join us right after this.
Perfect.
Perfect. Perfect.
Getting the right look at the right price
Perfect.
is always in style at Cost Cutters.
Located in the professional building in the Winona Mall, 507-454-6030.
Let's do it. Ta-da!
Welcome to Garage Squad.
Congratulations.
Put your thing down and we'll do it. It's a little, we're done.
Piece of cake.
Come on, there we go.
You guys ready to see it?
Yeah, baby.
It's just very emotional.
A dream come true.
Garage Squad. New episode Wednesday at 10 on Motor Trend.
See you guys then.
And welcome back to the Warrior Report here on TV 25. We're brought to you by Cost Cutters. Taylor Johnson now joins us. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you're a senior, but we want to kind of go back a little bit before we talk about what's happened this past weekend in the season. You've been involved in soccer for a long time, from what I found out, maybe about since you were 5 years old.
Yeah, it's been quite the journey. I mean, I've enjoyed every single moment of it, but yeah, for a really long time, so.
So did your parents say, well, let's get her into some kind of athletics or something, and so soccer was what they chose, or how did that happen?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of a rough kid, so I liked getting dirty, I liked getting down, whatever, but soccer was just always something I really fell in love with, and they saw that I had some talent, so they're like, we're just going to keep her there, see how she does, and I haven't stopped, so I've kind of stuck through.
All right, and you won some championships growing up in your kind of club time. Can you talk about that a little
Yeah, so in high school and club, we won, when I was there for the club team, we won the state cup twice. And then for our summer league, we won the national championship. So that was like one of the best moments of my entire career. But yeah, it was awesome. So.
And that was down in Florida, is that correct?
Yep, it was right down in Florida, and it was the best weather possible, just like the best game and the best atmosphere. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did you decide then to come to Winona State?
So I was like I kind of had an idea that I wanted to go out of state, kind of get out of my comfort zone and stuff like that. So I had a few like recent players, Mackenzie Challoner, who used to be on the team last year. She committed here and stuff like that. And then there was another senior, Amy Flash. She used to play for the soccer team here too. And they kind of like told me about Winona State, and I kind of heard about it a little bit. And then when I came to campus, I absolutely fell in love with it. And I was like, this is the place for me, and I feel like I'm gonna really enjoy my life here and like soccer too. So.
All right. So when you saw the roster coming in and you saw Taylor, what were some of the things that you noticed about her game and how you were going to be able to use her?
She is very, very aggressive. I think that's a nice way to say it, and that's exactly what you want out of your defenders. So she doesn't back down from a challenge. She puts her nose in there, gets her head on loose balls. I mean, she is everything you want out of a defender.
Okay. Now, Coach said before that he had to move you around a little bit, and being your senior year, that had to be a little bit of a difficulty, but he said you adapted to it well. So what was the change, and what was that like to have to kind of change your game last season?
Yeah, so in high school, I actually used to play center back all the time, but then when Coach Kellogg came, he's like, let's try you at outside back. He's like, you know, you're aggressive, you got the speed, like, let's just try it. I'm like, sure, might as well. So last year was my first year playing outside back, and then this year, we're kind of going through a little bit of rough patches. Like, we're just going to switch it up, see how it goes. And now I'm in center back, and it kind of feels a little like closer to home just because I used to be there. But I mean, I enjoy the position. I enjoy both of the positions, so it was like nice. And it was kind of a little bit of a change at first, but now I feel like I know what I'm doing, and I feel like I control more on the field. So.
Okay, so defense, you don't get a whole lot of stats, you don't get a whole lot of glory. So tell me what it's like to play back there, and what are some things that you have to do during games that maybe some people don't realize when they're watching a match?
I mean, it's more just making sure everyone is like doing their position correctly and making sure that you know where everything's going, like what's going on, like where's the ball going and stuff like that. But I mean, being a defender, I really enjoy it. Like I like to talk, I like to be out there, I like to be vocal and stuff like that. So it's like, for me, like my like personal thing is like I like seeing other people like be successful on the field. So it's like, even though like I don't get the stats, like I don't get the glory, like I know like in the end when someone gets that goal or when someone has that feeling that they like know that they did best, like it's like that's best for me. So it's like that's basically like my stat is like when someone else has their success, because it's like I know as defense like we did our job in order for us to like get the ball up the field and for us to like get that goal. So it's like even though stats aren't there, it's still a win. So.
All right, and last question, you have Augustana and Wayne coming up this weekend. What do you personally have to do to be successful? What does the team have to do to be successful?
Personally, I know like I need to like stay positive, keep my ground, because Augustana is a really big team. I mean, they have like a lot of people up top and like all over that are pretty strong players. So it's like I know I have to stay grounded and like be aggressive and stay positive with everyone else. And as a team, I just feel like we just need to keep the game in our hands, keep it under control, and even with the weather, like you said before, it is going to be a little sloppy, but I feel like if we just pass the feet, play and move and stuff like that and keep it under control, I feel like the game will be ours. So.
All right, well, thank you guys for joining us here, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you for joining us here in the Warrior Report. We'll see you next time here on HBC TV 25.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Perfect. Getting the right look at the right price.
Perfect.
Is always in style. At Cost Cutters.
Located in the professional building in the Winona Mall, 507-454-60.
Get ready to rock the block. 4 top designers, 4 suburban homes. The renovation showdown is on.
This is my turn. I don't like to lose. This is gonna be fun.
I'm gonna crush the competition.
It's time to rock the block. Rock the Block. Series premiere Monday, October 21st at 9 on HGTV.